Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. My name is Stephanie, and I'm a senior international officer here at the University of Suffolk. Thank you, and thank you so much for joining the postgraduate session focusing on international students. So, I will be taking you through a presentation which looks at some of the courses we offer here at the University of Suffolk, tuition fees specifically for international students, some of the scholarship opportunities, and also some of the support services available here at the University of Suffolk. We will then be joined by some of our current students who will share insights about their applicant journey, what their experience has been here at the University of Suffolk, and some of the skills they've been able to enhance using the support and part-time job opportunities available. So once again, thank you so much for joining. Solomon, can you see my screen properly?
Yes, we can. Yeah, all good.
Okay, thank you. So I'll start off by showcasing where the University of Suffolk is located. So we are located in a town called Ipswich. It's an hour, 10 minutes from London. I'm sure most of you would be familiar with London. So it's an hour, 10 minutes from London. And if you're an international student looking to join the University of Suffolk, and perhaps maybe you've applied and now you're looking at the pre-arrival elements of which airport is most conducive, we are surrounded by different airports. Obviously, Heathrow is the most popular for most international students. So we are about an hour, 10 minutes away again from London. Ipswich is also close to other airports apart from just Heathrow. So depending on where you're traveling from, you may also be able to fly into airports such as Stansted or London City Airport or Gatwick Airport. So the location in itself is usually an advantage because Ipswich is an affordable place to live in compared to other cities and towns in the UK. So as an international student, more often than not, students are concerned about the cost of living, how much will it cost them for accommodation, and we can sort of like reassure you, and you will hear from some of our current students that it is an affordable town to live in. um, and maybe a bit of like insight on the campus. So our campus is town center based, and the buildings or sort of like the facilities spread throughout the town of Ipswich. So what I'm currently displaying is some of our buildings. So like the HM building, the library building, the health and well-being building. Obviously, our different courses are taught in different buildings, but that sort of showcases our campus facilities and the buildings available here at the University of Suffolk. It's also conducive in the sense that it's a walking distance into the city center. So, for example, while studying here, if you need to go into the town center to do your grocery shopping or just to explore, it's within a walking distance. So, again, saves you a bit of money in terms of like not having to necessarily take the bus or the train. Compared to other universities which may be located slightly far away from the city center and the town center. And then what I'm going to showcase shortly is a video which showcases Suffolk as a county and a study destination. And obviously you'll see elements of what students can get involved in terms of like living and being part of the community here in Ipswich. So at the University of Suffolk, we pride of ourselves in terms of like we attract students from various nationalities and backgrounds. So we currently have quite a diverse cohort of international students coming from various countries around the world. And on the screen right now, you can see some of our alumni. So we have Dipali, who was originally from India. We have Emmanuel, who did data science and artificial intelligence here with us and was originally from Nigeria, and Kifa, who also was originally from Nigeria. And all students, both current and alumni, have different elements of what was their experience to share with prospective applicants like you. So, for example, Kifa does shed a bit of light about the microplacement opportunities available here at the University of Suffolk. So, microplacement is a scheme which allows students to undertake a 10-week placement in different parts in the university, and it's a paid opportunity where you will get to learn different skills which you can then transfer into your different careers and subject areas. So Kifa shares a bit about having been a micro placement student, and she says it's allowed her to develop different skills taught as part of her master's degree, and also to apply them in real work life environment. And like you can see, she also did the MSc data science and artificial intelligence. So basically, the University of Suffolk does not only attract students to then teach you and sort of like give you that academic empowerment, we also create opportunities where students can enhance their skills, students can gain work experience, which is then relevant and can be transferred in different elements depending on what master's or undergraduate program you decide to study. Emmanuel shares a bit about his experience as well, and he says Suffolk matched his needs. Um, we are a modern university that has invested in facilities and industry standard equipment. So you will see throughout the presentation as I speak to you about our different excuse me, as I speak about our different schools and faculties that we have invested majorly in our facilities. And like I mentioned when we started, we have different buildings sort of like dedicated to different course areas and subject areas. He also mentions about the affordability of the location. So this is something that we are currently really proud of. Like Ipswich is a fairly affordable place to live in and study in compared to most spaces in the UK, and it is a short walking distance from the campus, like I mentioned. The last student testimonial I'd like to share with you is from Deepali, who was originally from India and did MSc Data Science and Artificial Intelligence with us as well. So she chose to study at Suffolk because of the innovative method of teaching. So the University of Suffolk embeds and focuses on the block and blend method approach of teaching, which means that students have an opportunity to get a better understanding of each module because you focus on block teaching. So you undertake one module at a time, and it then gives you an opportunity to specialize and focus on that specific module, which is a unique element compared to other UK universities. So the method of teaching is also something that's appreciated by most international students. Moving on into subject areas in the schools that we have, so you'll realize that we have five main subject areas that we teach in, and the first one that I'm highlighting is the School of Art, or art as a subject area. So our art facilities demonstrate our commitment to fostering student creativity and innovation. And like I mentioned, we have invested in facilities across the subject areas that we teach in. So we have purpose-built industry standard studios for various art-related courses. The University of Suffolk also has specialized 3D workshop and printing rooms where students doing courses like graphics design will be able to sort of like use such spaces. And we also have video installation and exhibition spaces for students who may want or have an interest in the art related subject areas. So I'm aware that this is a postgraduate focused webinar, but you will realize that for our art related courses, we only offer currently undergraduate, mostly subject areas and not necessarily masters. And we're currently ranked first in the UK for student satisfaction in art and design. This is according to the Complete University Guide of 2025. The second subject area that I would like to highlight is the business management. Our students are nurtured to become future entrepreneurs within this area and corporate leaders. And you will see some of the reasons why, because most courses have professional accreditation, such as the International Leadership Management, CIPD for students who are interested in strategic people management and HR related courses. And we also have accreditations with CMI. We also have support for the business from the Business Solution Center for students to start their own business. So if you're entrepreneurial and keen on entrepreneurship, you do get mentorship from various support teams available here at the University of Suffolk. So it's a combination of sort of like support from our careers and employability team, but also from the School of Business, where you're able to pitch a business idea, and depending on whether how good it is and the need that's there, you may get funding to establish that business idea. So and this is a scheme whereby you don't need to only be studying a business course here at the University of Suffolk. You may be undertaking maybe a computer related course, but you do have an interest in entrepreneurship and can use sort of like the Business Solution Center to enhance those skills. And then we also have dedicated international career consultants within the University of Suffolk who would guide you in terms of like your career and specialty area, applying for jobs, maybe undertaking an interview. So some of the subject areas or the degrees, particularly the master's degrees that you're able to undertake here at the University of Suffolk, include MSc Digital Marketing and Data Analytics. This is a new course which is going to be starting this September 2026, and we'll have two intakes. So we will have a January and September intake for the MSc Digital Marketing and Data Analytics program. We also have MSc Financial Technology, which is a very popular program again with international students. And the students are able to use world class facilities again, because we have the Bloomberg Suites on campus, which you're able to use as a MSc Financial Technology student. And then MSc International Business Management, which, like the digital marketing and analytic course, has two intakes. So it has a September and January intake. We're currently open and taking applications for September 2026. And then again, still within the business school, we do the Suffolk MBA and strategic people management, which is a HR focused program. You will see that we offer two courses in strategic people management. The first option is a 1 year program where you just undertake your coursework, but the one with the extended practice embeds work experience where you get an opportunity to do work experience. So the course is slightly longer. It's 14 to 16 months as opposed to the strategic people management course, which is only 12 months long. So I did mention a bit about the Business Solutions Center, which is a co-working community-based space in the HM building, so our business school, and it provides access to hot desk space, a networking and collaborative opportunity platform for you as a current or future University of Suffolk student to use and be able to network with people who are already in the business industry. The third school or subject area that we teach in is health and sciences. Again, a very, very popular area with international students. And our campus is a dynamic environment where healthcare leaders and scientific pioneers of the future are nurtured, and you're able to grow in your specific subject areas. So, in terms of facilities, we have the simulated hospital wards, which include a bathing unit and the paramedic science studios for learning and environment. We also have specialty labs for sports and exercise science, physiotherapy, and radiotherapy imaging suites, and then computerized phantom laboratories for the dental hygiene students. So again, in this school or subject area, we offer both undergraduate and postgraduate courses, but I'll only focus on the master's or postgraduate courses. So we currently do an MSc Adult Nursing pre-registration and MSc Diagnostic Radiography pre-registration. These two courses, like the title suggests, lead into registration. They're 2-year long master's programs with currently an intake in January only. So, for an international student keen to undertake any of these two courses, please remember it's January only. We are open and accepting applications for January 2027, and they're 2 years masters. For the MSc Adult Nursing pre-registration course in specific, apart from just your academics, we also look for a minimum of 750 hours of work experience. So students need to demonstrate that they have experience in health and social care giving, and students will also undertake an interview with the school before actually being given an admission offer. So those are unique features for the two course areas. And then lastly, under this school, we also have the MSc Public Health and Wellbeing, which is a September only intake, and we are accepting applications for September 2026. So I'll play a video which showcases our facilities for health and well-being building, and I hope you do get to see some of the mentioned facilities, such as the bathing unit and the radiotherapy suites. So the fourth subject area is social sciences and humanities. And again, you will see that we do offer a range of courses in this subject area. Our School of Social Sciences and Humanities focuses on connecting people, places, and the society. Um, and like you have noticed across board, we do have facilities specialized for this subject area. So we do have a mock courtroom on campus for LLB and LLM law students to use to practice various skills that law students may be required to have and enhance those said skills. We also have the psychology laboratories with EEG equipment. So you're able to start practicing with some of the sort of like facilities that you would be using in industry and in your career as you progress and after graduation. And then the University of Suffolk also has really strong partnerships with the government, social charities, and organizations within the social sciences area. So we've highlighted both our undergraduate and postgraduate courses within the social sciences subject area, but obviously this being a postgraduate focused webinar, we're focusing only on the postgraduate courses, and you will realize that we offer a range of postgraduate courses within the social sciences subject area. So the first course that we've highlighted is MSc Applications of Psychology. Typically, the kind of students we would accept in this master's program are students who have a background in psychology, so you may have already done like a BSc in psychology, we would accept such students on the MSc application psychology program with a minimum 2 as the entry requirement. It's a course with September only intake. So again, we are accepting applications right now for September 2026. And if you're keen, then you can submit your application. But something I need to highlight in order to differentiate why we sort of like have two psychology related master's programs is MSc applications of psychology, like I said, will require students who have some form of background in psychology. However, you will see that we've also mentioned that we have an MSc psychology, which is highlighted as a conversion route. And as the name suggests, this is more for people who do not have a bachelor's degree or a background in psychology, but would now want to convert into the psychology area. So you may have done perhaps a different bachelor's degree, but now have an interest in becoming a psychologist. So the MSc psychology conversion route would typically be what we offer to you if you're a student in that sort of like background or situation. We also have other programs within the subject area, so MA Creative Writing and Critical Skills, LLM Criminal Law and Justice, which is again a popular program amongst various international students. And just to highlight, it does have a September and January intake start. Then we have the MA Criminology, MA Education, MA History, and MA International Relations. Some of our students joining us here today are undertaking the MA International Relations. So if you have any questions, you can pop them in the question and answer section, and you will get more insight from one of our students who's currently studying in that subject area. Then, as part of our facilities or the University of Suffolk campus, we also have a building called The Hold, which is home to Suffolk Archives, and over 9 million documents for historical research are hosted within this facility. So it just goes again to showcase the kind of collaboration we have between us as a university and the public and community in general. And then lastly, a school and a subject area that we teach in is technology. So on campus and at our Digitech Center, which is at the BT on campus and at our Digitech Center at BT Industrial Park. So basically, our computing and tech related courses are taught in a place called Digitech Center, and that's home to sort of like BT Research Center and other startups and businesses. So our students basically within the subject area are able to thrive in a learning environment where sort of like we are in partnership with BT and also able to enhance their work experience. So that facility has high specification digital and forensic labs. It also sort of like boasts of having network and software engineering computing labs and also the Juniper networking sandpit. So again, under our School of Technology, we offer both undergraduate and postgraduate programs. Um, so for postgraduate courses that we currently do, we have the MSc Computer Science, which has different specializations. So a student can specialize in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and software engineering. So typically the kind of students we would accept in the MSc Computer Science area are students who have a background in computing because this is an advanced entry course. So you typically cannot have a bachelor's degree in other subject areas. We would require you to have a background in tech or computing. But the two courses highlighted, the last two courses, MSc Cybersecurity and MSc Data Science and Artificial Intelligence, are what we call conversion courses. So unlike the first option, MSc Computer Science, for MSc Cybersecurity and MSc Data Science and Artificial Intelligence, you can convert into this master's courses if you did a different bachelor's degree. So we've had students or international students who've done different bachelor's degree and are not related to technology. So, for example, Emmanuel, who I highlighted at the beginning of my presentation, had done a background in agriculture and then came and did data science and artificial intelligence with us. And this is often the case with international students where they would like to change into more employable or new subject areas, especially within the tech industry. So University of Suffolk does offer those two conversion programs, MSc Cybersecurity and MSc Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. A ranking we are proud of is the fact that in the UK, University of Suffolk is ranked fourth for computing and gaming. And this is according to the Daily Mail ranking of 2026. I won't play the video just because Solomon has highlighted to me that the sound is not working. So I'm really sorry for that. So I'll skip the video for now and move on to highlight some of our PhD, postgraduate programs that we offer here at the University of Suffolk. So our postgraduate researchers are the next generation of thinkers, and essentially we are focusing on ensuring that we involve the students keen to do PhD studies in original and dynamic kind of research. So the University of Suffolk also offers PhD programs for our postgraduate range of courses, and the subject areas that you can undertake a PhD in here at the University of Suffolk include architecture, business management, criminology, education, history, law, social studies, social policy, and many more, like I have highlighted in the screen. The application process for PhD courses is slightly different. So if you look onto our website and if you look under the PhD area, you will see guidance on how to apply. But in general, you will be expected to submit something called a research proposal, which the Suffolk doctoral team will review and get back to you in terms of like if you're able to offer supervision for the research area you're interested in. So unlike the master's courses where you can apply directly on our website, if you're interested in PhD programs, please look on the website and follow the guidelines that have been highlighted in terms of applying, which will include you submitting a research proposal. So in terms of ranking again, University of Suffolk achieved an outstanding award for producing world-leading and international excellent research, and this is according to the Research and Excellence Framework of 2021. So in terms of support and career services and support services offered at the University of Suffolk, and particularly in reference to international students, we acknowledge that you're moving far away from home. It's a new environment for you, and the university has taken that into consideration. And hence, we have different teams who focus and support you in different areas. So, the first area I'm highlighting is the careers and employability team, who are able to sort of like work with our current students in terms of like having one-to-one sessions and guiding them about the standard of CV writing within the UK, what kind of cover letters and personal statements will be needed for part-time and full-time job opportunities. They also tend to share job opportunities with our students, so they will guide you in terms of like, are you keen on getting a part-time job? How do you go about that? Where do you search for the part-time jobs? And also guide more on CV writing. The university runs a scheme called a micro placement, which, like I mentioned at the beginning, is a paid opportunity for students to undertake work, and the aim for this is not only for you to earn money part time, but also it's to enhance skills or enable you learn different skills that you can then transfer in your different areas of interest or careers. And then we'll also have body swaps under this the support system for careers and employability, which are VR experience to help you as a current or future student in terms of like improving your interview skills and developing attributes which may be necessary for the workplace. Then a ranking that we're really, really proud of is the fact that University of Suffolk was ranked second for careers and employability prospects, and this is according to the Watch Uni Student Choice Award of 2024. This is an award that is voted for by students, so for us to have been ranked second, it just showcases that our current students acknowledge and realize the potential of their career prospects and are able to really gain in terms of the career prospects. As an international student, again, moving away from home, accommodation is a question we get a lot from students looking to apply and study here. And University of Suffolk offers both on campus and off campus accommodation. Again, the students joining us here today all live in different places. So when we get to the panel session, I'll allow them to share a bit about where they stay, how did they find that accommodation, do they find it affordable or not? So they will be able to share about their accommodation details. But just to let you know, we have various accommodation, like I mentioned, both on and off campus. Athena Hall is the on campus accommodation, which is a 1 minute walking distance from the main university building, which is the waterfront building. And then we have Grimwade, which is 75 Grimwade, which can also be considered to be an on campus accommodation because it's not far from our university buildings and facilities. And then lastly, we have Oman House as an off campus accommodation option. Um, so again, just to highlight in terms of affordability, you're looking at £135 per week if you do choose to stay at a thinner hall. We've had intakes where they've offered students sort of like discounts. So it's very important for you to look out for such communication and frequently check on our website in terms of like any accommodation discounts that may be offered. This is a self-catering accommodation, which means that you would be able to cook your own meals. But like I mentioned, it's within such a short walking distance and making it very, very convenient in terms of like your studies and if you have to do after classes or be in the library, it's on campus. So it does save you a lot of time commuting and also save you a lot of money in terms of like if you were staying further away and having to use or incur transport cost. Athena Hall would be a good option. As for 75 Greenwich, you're looking at £134 per week. Again, like I mentioned, it can be considered to be on campus because it's only a 2 minutes walk from the main campus facilities and buildings. And it is also a self-catering accommodation, meaning that you would have to prepare your own meals. And then lastly, Omen House, which is a 16-bedroom shared house, and currently sort of like priced at £145 per week, and is a 25 minutes from campus accommodation. So definitely the off-campus accommodation that you would be looking at. In terms of English language requirements, so generally, considering some of you are listening from different parts of the world, we have English language requirements specifically for international students. And if you're an international student looking at an undergraduate course, you're currently looking at a 6.0 IELTS English language requirement, and then for postgraduate, 6.5. So for postgraduate applicants specifically, we tend to have something called the English waiver. So depending on if you went to a university which taught, like you were taught in English and you graduated within the last 10 years, we may be able to waiver the English language test requirement. So it may not be mandatory for you to sit and sort of like provide an English test. However, this does not include the professional health courses. So if you're keen to do MSc Adult Nursing, for example, or MSc Diagnostic Radiography, you would still be required to sit an approved secured English language test and provide the test results showing that you have an overall 7.0 in IELTS and then 76 in PTE, for example, or equivalent in any other test that is acceptable. Um, if you are an applicant or a prospective applicant from Pakistan, however, we would like to highlight that you will need to undertake an English test. So the waiver is not applicable currently for applicants from Pakistan, and you would need to take an approved English language test, and which we have a number of them listed on our website. So If you're eligible to use the English language waiver, which basically means providing proof that you were taught in English, there are some requirements that you would have to meet. So one, your degree must have been awarded within the last 10 years. The English language proficiency letter must be signed by a senior person, such as the registrar or the chief of exams officer. Your degree must be equivalent to the UK bachelor's as well. So we need to be sure that it is equivalent to the UK bachelor's, and all your modules must have been taught in English, which is often the case for most of the international students that we've had. It can be used into most of our postgraduate courses. However, I would like to highlight that we cannot use a medium of instruction or English waiver form for professional health courses, and those students are required to sit an English test. So, in terms of tuition fees for September 2026 and January 2027 intakes for undergraduate courses, it will range from 15,900 to 18,870, and for master's courses, it will be £16,020 to about 19,692. If you look on our website and you look on the specific course, so for example, if you're interested in MSc International Business, if you look on the specific course page, you will see the specific tuition fees. So we are just highlighting a range, and that's what we're currently highlighting. For those interested in PhD, please look at the website because different PhD areas have different tuition fees, and that will often be highlighted and updated on our website. The University of Suffolk offers merit-based scholarships to international students. And again, for September 2026 and 2027, our merit-based scholarships will be ranging from £1,000 to £3,000. So, for example, if you're a student coming for a master's course and perhaps you graduated with a 2-2, which is a second class lower, you'd be eligible to get £1,000 off your fees. And then if you got a 2-1, which is second class upper, you'd be eligible to get £2,000. And if you had a first class, you would typically get £3,000 as scholarship. The University of Suffolk is also running something called the early bird discount for international students. So this is a scheme that will currently enable you as a future student to get £1,000 back. So £1,000 back to applicants who sort of like take up the early bird offer. So you need to accept and get your CAS issued by the 22nd of May. So if you're thinking about applying and sort of like getting or benefiting from this particular scheme, I would urge you to submit your application as soon as possible. Ensure that you've provided all required documentation and gotten your confirmation of acceptance by the 22nd of May to be eligible. You'll also be required to pay your full fees upfront, and this must be paid at the CAS deposit stage. In the international team, you're able to share more details once you submit your application in reference to this. You'll also be required to evidence your visa application by the 29th of May 2026. So again, if you're interested and would like more details, we're able to share this in the international team. So having shared all the courses we offer, I'm sure you're wondering, how do you apply to the University of Suffolk? So currently for undergraduate courses, we will accept applications through UCAS. And for postgraduate courses, you can apply directly on our website. There's an application form where you'll fill in your details and submit the required documents, which typically are the likes of your degree certificate and previous high school qualifications, a personal statement, recommendation letter, and if you're eligible for the waiver, then a medium of instruction letter. Our current CAS deposit. So in order to get your CAS issued, you will be required to pay £5,000, and this is payable via Flywire. This is for all nationalities except Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and the Punjab area in India. So these highlighted nationalities are required to pay a higher deposit of £10,000. So if you're from any other country apart from the ones highlighted, you fall on the £5,000 category. And then if you're from any of the listed countries, then you would have to pay £10,000 as your CAS deposit. So in summary, everything that I've been speaking about will sort of like be summarized in the process that we're currently highlighting. So once you apply and get your offer letter with us, you will then move on to the CAS issuance stage, which you will be required to undertake a pre-CAS interview, which is basically us trying to establish whether you're ready to pass the UKVI interviews. If you're successful in your precast interview, you'll then pay your CAS deposit and upload the necessary documents to enable us issue your CAS, and then we will allow you to apply for your visa. So we will again be available to guide you through this in the international office and also share details of what to expect during the precast interview. But we have highlighted some of the important things in terms of preparing. Um, and to stay in touch with our team, I will highlight my email address so you can send me an email on s.akinyi@uos.ac.uk or international@uos.ac.uk. So we've come to the end of the presentation, and I will now stop sharing my screen but invite our current students to join the session and perhaps be able to hear a little bit more from our current international students. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put your questions in the question and answer section. So I'm joined by our lovely current international students who I will allow to first introduce themselves and just mention the course they're currently doing before we go into the panel session. So starting with you, Lucy, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. My name is Lucy. I'm from Kenya and I'm doing a master's in international relations.
Thank you, Lucy. Ian, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Hi everyone. My name is Ian Waweru. I am from Kenya as well, and I'm doing a master's in data science and artificial intelligence.
Thank you, Ian. Isra, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Isra. I'm a second year diagnostic radiography student. I'm a UK student, but I'm here to answer any questions that may be related to accommodation, social life.
Thank you, Isra. Adama,
Hi everyone, my name is Adam Assal and I'm from Senegal. I'm studying here at the University of Suffolk as an international student and I'm doing computer science.
thank you very much, Adama. So, like I highlighted in the presentation, we have diverse students from various backgrounds, but also some of our home students, like Isra has mentioned, she is a UK student, and they will be sharing a bit of their details. So, as we start off, and a question perhaps for you, Isra, is maybe tell our listeners and our audience today a bit about where you live, so the accommodation you're currently living in, and in terms of like getting on campus and attending your lessons and lectures, how easy is it of a commute for you?
For me, I live in Athena Hall, so the on-campus main accommodation is quite quick. It takes about maybe a 5 minute walk, 5 to 10 minutes, depending if I'm going like further to like the health and well-being building. But if I'm coming to the main waterfront building, it takes about 2 minutes. So I'd say it's very accessible and very useful.
Okay, thank you, Isra. And from a student perspective, do you feel like that's convenient for like attending your lectures and saving you also like money? Because if you stayed
Yeah.
farther away, you'd perhaps have to take a bus or a train. How has that been sort of
Mhm.
like good and useful for you in terms of like the student experience?
Mm. I would say living in Athena Hall is very useful because if I hadn't had lived here, then I'd be commuting from home. I'm from London, but where in London I'm from, it takes about an hour, 50 minutes to come to Ipswich, so it's very convenient, for example, for exams and stuff like that. Like, I don't have to stress about commuting the day of an exam, which I know some people do commute from London to the university, but I'll say it saves me a lot of stress and panic living in Athena Hall when it comes to exams and attending important seminars.
Okay, thank you very much, Isra. My next question goes to you, Ian. Could you please share a little bit about what you like about living in Ipswich?
Thank you, Stephanie. So for me, the best part about Ipswich is the fact that the main thing that brought me here is school. I'm not detached from the outside life. I can go to town whenever I have a break, whenever I need to get out of school, whenever I need to go get anything, I can go to town. Like you said, it's literally like if I'm going the farthest, I mean, it's like 20 minutes walk. The fact that Ipswich is also a dynamic town with people from different backgrounds, it means you can probably get everything. The first few days when I came in, my biggest worry was because I've been to another country was getting food from home, things that at least could be able to allow me to fit in quite easily. So at least there are different kinds of stores around, so you can pretty much get anything from home. So I really love the town. I love the people who are here. The people are nice. The people are kind. I can be able to actually get everything I need. So that's pretty much the best thing about the town.
Thank you so much, Ian. And during your free time, would you say the activities you enjoy taking part are those activities in the university or are they outside within the community?
Well, there are community activities as well. I'm a big football fan. Go Manchester United. So we have goals literally that's next door where you can go play football. It's what's it called? It's a turf that basically allows people to play five-a-side. There's different places for everyone who likes to go clubbing. I think we have places like Rev, if that's your scene. If you like to like go to places like what's it called? Some people like to see the sceneries. There's the waterfront. There's places like I think we have a few museums. I've not been to the one, but someone was telling me I need to go to one that is, I think, it's a slight drive, but it's close to the school. So yeah, there are a few places depending on what each and every individual want to do. But I think that you will not miss anything that you find that you can do during your spare time. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ian. It's true that Ipswich is quite a vibrant town to live in, and it really depends on your interests. So, if you're interested in like sports or if you like taking walks, there's like different parks that you can go to within the town. We're also a 20 minutes drive from Felixstowe Beach. So, again, if you like nature, if you like scenery, the beach is really close by and nice during like the summertime and everything. So it really depends on your interest and this kind of stuff that you like to get involved in. Thank you, Ian. I'll move on. And Lucy, could you share with our viewers today a bit about what kind of academic support you've received since you started studying here at the University of Suffolk?
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. So, like you were talking about earlier, one thing that has made I think learning so much easier for me is the block method, because just concentrating on one module for 6 weeks and then taking a 2 week break has been very, very easy for me, especially as an international, master's student, because a postgraduate degree requires much more reading and much more studying. So it's given me a lot of time to do that. The lecturers are so supportive. We have very small classes, so it's basically the lecturer knows each one of you by their name, each one of your strengths, and if you have any queries, they're always just an email away. Right now, I'm almost doing my placement. I get a lot of support for that. I get an interview maybe in a week or so to help me be able to look for a proper placement for my degree, and everything is just made very simple and easy, especially for someone who's not from here. So I wouldn't know like maybe where to go to get these placements, but the school makes that so much more easier for us.
Thank you so much, Lucy. And considering you came from a different background, obviously having traveled from a different country and coming to study in the UK, would you say there are things which were unconventional or surprising at the beginning? And how did you overcome, if any, of those things? Like, how did you go about it? How did you end up settling down?
Okay, so I'm very fortunate. I'm from a country where English is the official language, so at least there was no language barrier. My undergrad university, I wouldn't say that much differences except the block method, because in Kenya we don't have anything like that, and I don't think a lot of universities in the UK also have that. But I would say Honestly, it's been very smooth for me, academic wise. Yes, of course, it's a master's, so much more reading, much more studying. But the lectures are interesting, so you're even excited to go home and do more studying and do more reading into exactly what you need to study for. So I can't say academically there's been that much of a big difference. Only now much more studying, but not really that much.
Okay. And you mentioned that your lectures are small in size, like you're not too many in your lectures, and the academics are able to know each individual perhaps by name and sort of like give you sort of like the kind of support that you need. Outside the lectures, would you say your academics are approachable? Are you able to have meetings with them? Are you able to sit down and sort of like share what you're trying to achieve as part of your master's program?
Yes, like for every assignment, the lecturers always encourage you to send them drafts, of which I found that is very easy because as much as the language barrier and academics has not been very different, how assignments are graded here and how assignments are graded back home is very different. So I had to learn now a new way of writing assignments, a new way of knowing how to get high marks. So the lectures are very easily approachable. It just takes an email on Outlook. You plan an appointment. It can either be online or face to face, which I like that I have the option to decide if I want person to person or online. Um, if there's anything you have problems with, especially like because here it's the assignments has to be very in depth. They even give you guidance on how to write those assignments, and no, my lecture says no question is a stupid question. So I really found that very helpful.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lucy, for sharing about the academic support you've received this far. My next question is for you, Adama, and I know Lucy has spoken a bit about the academic support. Please share more about what has been your experience in terms of like international student support. So, apart from just the academics, have you used any other support services within the university? If yes, which ones? And how was that beneficial for you as an international student from Senegal in terms of like your settling down?
Oh, thank you, Steph. I can say like my journey was like really smooth, but it would be like really hard if I didn't have the support of the university environment, because from a French country, so my first language is French. So basically, I have to adapt myself, learn the English language. But here at the university, first of all, when I was about to apply, they guided me on how I can really focus on the materials that I need to learn regarding my English test, and then the process, because I had to like translate all my diploma and certificate and grades into English language test. And everything went really smooth because I had the support with the university, and then they guided me through each step during this journey. And once I've been here, like I said, the career, like the sorry, the career impropriety and enterprise, I've been like really cool with them. They approachable, and then they always send like a link for jobs, internship, for micro placement, and I've done like a couple of micro placement, which also was really helpful because it helped me to enhance my communication skills and also have like real experience while studying. And talking about experience, last year I had the opportunity to do an internship after like my second year at the university, so it was really interesting and helpful as well. Also, regarding the support with the lecturers, like you mentioned earlier, they are really approachable, and you can basically have like a one-on-one tutoring session with any of your lecturers. You just need like to text them or to approach them and say, "Listen, I have a like a problem, or I'm struggling with this material," and they gonna spend their time and energy just to help you succeed. Because here at the University of Suffolk, the one goal they have, I can say, is they want you to succeed. So they will manage any, like, they're going to manage any effort to support you during your journey at the University of Suffolk.
Thank you so much, Adama. And yes, Adama has highlighted different support sort of like teams and services available here at the University of Suffolk. So we have teams such as the Careers and Employability, we have the Student Life team, we have the chaplaincy team in terms of like spirituality, and it's a multi-faith chaplaincy where you doesn't matter like what religion and what faith you practice. They do offer our students support. So there's a lot of support, and we acknowledge that our international students are all from different backgrounds and will need various support elements. But one thing that you can be reassured of is the fact that University of Suffolk does focus and establish, but also invest in supporting the students, both home and international. I'll go back to Isra. And Isra, my other question for you is, because you mentioned that your home is originally in London, would you say Ipswich is an affordable study destination for students? Um, Maybe comparing it to where you're originally from, and in terms of like weekly budgeting, how much would you say roughly? You don't have to give exact figures, but roughly, how much would you say is a fair budget for a student studying at the University of Suffolk?
Um, Compared to at home in London, I would say Ipswich is much more affordable because I know university students in London pay over, some people over 10,000, 9,000 pound in rent, and in Athena Hall we pay, the most you pay is 10k. That is for studios though, and for the ensuite rooms we pay 7k and below, and you get discounts and you can stay in the same room for 3 years, which is affordable because in other universities, for example, back home in London, you have to usually move out after the first year, then find your own accommodation. So I'd say it's much more affordable and convenient. Pay, and you also get, sorry, rebookers discounts. So if you book again in the second year, you get a discount, and then you get a much even cheaper discount in the third year. So I'd say living in Ipswich is much cheaper, and roughly budgeting. Sorry. So what did you say about budgeting
Yeah, so
again?
how much would you say you spend in a week as a student living in Ipswich and studying at the University of Suffolk?
I would say roughly I spend a decent amount, not too much, not too little, only because I want to balance social, and I also pay for things such as tutoring and other things. But in London, I would say I pay much more only because there's transport. What else? The food in London's more expensive. I would say even being at home during the holidays, I spend much more than compared to like a week living here. Like if I compare, sorry, a week living at home and then a week living here, I spend like almost double, triple the amount living in London. So I'll say, yeah,
Thank you so much. And I have
it's
another
okay.
question for you, like a last question for you. Have you joined any student societies or clubs?
Yes, I joined the knitting club, which was quite interesting. Like I'm trying to get into knitting. I'm a beginner. I know there's other societies such as like dance, the African Caribbean Society. I haven't joined that one yet, but I remember going to a Desi Society event. So like I would say there's a lot of different societies. Oh, and sorry, there's a lot of different societies for like international students to join. For example, there's something for Asian students, something for African students. So I'll say it's like a big range. There's also Dungeons of Dragons, but I also joined the Islamic Society. So there's like the Islamic Society and I believe the Christian Society. So there's a range of societies for different faiths and backgrounds.
Okay. And being part of those clubs and societies, are there elements of like cultural exchange that you've learned and developed? Do you interact with people from different backgrounds through those clubs and societies? And how important would you say that has been in terms of like your student experience?
I would definitely say that joining these societies has helped me make lots more friends that I wouldn't have made if I didn't join them. So it allowed me to meet and network with people of different backgrounds and people of the same backgrounds and faith as me. So I've even met people from these societies that are from literally the same area as me at home, which is like crazy coincidences. So yeah, I would say the society, join the societies.
Yeah, definitely join a society because whether a home or international student, you will need that social element of like interacting with fellow students, learning from them, or learning a new skill. I like that you're exploring knitting. It's something that's not necessarily part of like the course that you're doing, but it's a skill that you never know. You may be able to start a business or just learn it for your own personal benefit and
Yeah,
use. So the different clubs and societies here at University of Suffolk focus on giving you a platform to interact among your peers, but also learn and get involved in different things that you may have an interest and belief in. So it's not only for skill development, but also if you're from a place of faith and believe in a certain religion, then you have opportunity to interact with people with the same beliefs and sort of like from the same background. Thank you so much, Isra. um,
no
um,
worries.
I'm I'll just do one last round for our other students remaining. So, Ian, how easy was it for you to make friends in Ipswich and in the University of Suffolk?
So once I started, it was actually a lot easier. I stay in one of the really close student accommodation, 75 Greenwood, and literally within the first week, I made friends with shared kitchens. Definitely, when you're cooking, you definitely have to interact with a bunch of guys, and the difference is most people are friendly. You find places where people just try to mind their business, but here someone come ask, "Hi, how are you? Where you from?" And the fact that everyone has been so welcoming, everyone has been so kind, it sort of made it really easier to get along with everyone. We've had dinners together, we've had game nights together. I have friends not only from international countries, but friends from here who sort of take me to all the places that I would not have known. Uh, a friend from here to my first charity shop. A friend from here showed me where I could be able to get warm clothes when I came in, because the stuff that I got from back home really wasn't cutting it. And so for me, on a personal level, it has been quite easy to be able to make friends. And I think it's just to show how well and versatile Suffolk is.
Okay. And in terms of some of the things that our student life team put together, which, for example, include the international cafe and sort of like different celebrations, would you say those are platforms that the university sort of like invests time and effort in to allow you as a current student to interact with other people and, just build your community? Have you been part of any of those activities?
Yes, definitely, definitely. These are basically platforms where originally, if you didn't have anywhere to meet people, this give you the opportunity to do so. I've attended, I think, most of them that have had time to attend. I've met new people. We've had because some even had different foods where you had to bring from your countries or your place, or what you like to cook. So I had a taste of all that. Uh, these events, to be fair, are basically the one place as a new student where you can be able to just get out of your comfort zone and go out and meet new people. Because most people, when you come there, you're almost all new, and eventually you find, you have a lot in common, and when you do that, you get common ground, and you end up meeting at least people who you can walk that journey with. The events also have people with different expertise. Like you said, the careers team sometimes come in, sometimes it's the student life experience who come in, and they all allow you to be able to channel any questions, any concerns that you may have, and they help you sort it out. So yeah, this has been the events are a great way of helping us fit into the school and to Ipswich.
Thank you very much, Ian. So, throughout your studies here at the University of Suffolk, different teams will put together different events to allow you, as current students, to learn. So, what we would encourage you as a future applicant or a prospective applicant is that you will have that reassurance from us that there will be a lot of support. And like Ian says, you don't have to attend all of them, but we do encourage you to do attend when you can. And if and when you do that, then it's a chance not only to interact with others, but also to learn more about all the support available to our students. As we wrap up, Lucy, are you currently working part time as you study? If yes, how did you find your part time job, and where do you do your part time job?
Okay, so yeah, I'm currently working. I'm currently working part time. I'm working at Network Rail. I'm doing a cleaning job. So I clean offices in the evening, which is pretty very easy for 3 hours a day. I got my job on Indeed. Yeah, so it was pretty easy to apply. I applied for a few jobs, and that's the one that I got, and it's not that far. So I felt that was very easy for me to do.
Okay. And how do you balance having a part time job and still studying? Because that's mainly why you came to the University of Suffolk. How would you say you balance your time?
So I'm very lucky that my classes are just 1 day a week, which is very beneficial for a master student because it gives you time to study and gives you time to enjoy some social life and to also work. So the fact that I have classes once a week, I can work throughout the week easily enough. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And my final question to you, Adama, is you're currently a student ambassador. So please explain to our viewers a little bit more about what being a student ambassador is all about, and some of the things that have been come as a benefit of being a student ambassador. Some of the things you may have learned. How do you find it beneficial for you as a student studying here? We can't hear you, Adama. Yes, we can now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, being a student ambassador was like really helpful, like I said, with my English language, because as a student ambassador, you are like a representative of the University of Suffolk. So basically, they have a platform where they post a job, and also they send you an email regarding any job like the university are organizing. It can be an open day, it can be like any campus tour or anything that the university are currently organizing with like prospect student or prospect parent. They can hire a student ambassador to represent the university and then do the roles. So it helped me to understand how the university are like constitution regarding the space, information, availability of lecturers, like the different departments, so everything come up and add as a student ambassador, which is helpful when you do some of these jobs. And being part of that is really helpful. I'm really proud to be part of the student ambassador scheme. And right now, I'm working as a student ambassador, and it helped me also to have money because it's really good money. I think it's one of the greatest pay if you do part-time job, because I'm doing also a part-time job elsewhere, and they just pay the minimum wage. But being a student ambassador is like more uh, wage per hour. I can say that.
Okay.
And like, from that, yeah, it just helped me to learn, meet with other lecturers, other people, and now I can say I know everyone, or at least a bunch of people at the University of Suffolk. It can be staff, it can be a lecturer, and it put me up front. Whenever they have opportunity, they just think about me and say, "Oh, we know this guy. He can do it, or we can help him with that one."
Okay. Thank you very much, Adama. And that sort of like wraps up our panel session with our current students. So a big thank you to all of you, our current students, for just sharing your experience and letting know our viewers what has been your journey since you joined University of Suffolk, and to Isra as well. Even though she's not an international student, she's been able to share her student experience and some of the interactions of that she's had being a home student and interacting with fellow international students. So that wraps up the panel session. We do have a few questions that I will now take before we quickly wrap up this session. So the first question from one of our viewers is, um, our viewer is asking, I would like to know how long the application process usually takes. So typically it's 72 hours for you to get feedback, and feedback may be you being asked for extra documentation or you actually being given a conditional or unconditional offer. However, is with the exemption of certain courses. So courses such as MSc Adult Nursing, MSc Diagnostic Radiography, because you have to undertake an interview, may take longer than the 72-hour turnaround time. Same for PhD applicants, because your proposal has to be reviewed by the Suffolk Doctoral College. That may take more than 72 hours, but typically all other master's programs, the application and review time is typically 72 hours. The next question is, this person would like to know how many tuition fee installments you can pay. So I assume you're asking from an international perspective, how, if you can pay your fees in installments, and how many installments are there. So the answer to this is yes, you can pay your tuition fee in installments. So we don't expect international students to pay their full fees upfront. Like I mentioned, depending on the country you're coming from, before we give you a course, you'll be required to either pay £5,000 or £10,000 deposit, and then after that, the remaining balance can be split into two equal installments, which our finance team would set up for you and then let you know by what dates exactly you have to pay each installment. It's not automatic. So upon enrolling, you have to sort of like tell finance that you want to pay your fees in installments. So you don't just assume that there's going to be an payment plan. You have to opt into the installment payment plan. I believe that's all the questions we've gotten, unless there's any other burning question. I'm conscious of the time. So, once again, a big, big thank you to all our viewers and listeners here today, and a big thank you to all our current students.
Thank you.
Solomon, over to you.
Thank you, everyone. So that's the end of this stream for a postgraduate week. And then the next stream will be tomorrow at midday, and that will be covering everything you need to know about applying for a PhD. And then we'll also have another student panel from mainly home students tomorrow afternoon as well. All right. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.